Here's what Dave McMenamin put in a piece on ESPN. I think we have to start thinking that this could be his last year in the league. Rich Paul, James' agent, told me there was no extension talk because they didn't ask for an extension. They didn't broach the subject. Now you could say, why didn't the Lakers offer it? Sure, you could. But Paul's point to me was this wasn't a point of tension. It's not something that they were pursuing. So I think you look at it as, yeah, there's a very limited time remaining in his career. We kind of already knew that. We knew that basically since he reached 20 years in the league. He's gone into every offseason contemplating retirement. Let me just start with this because I think there's a lot, and I don't know if since we haven't chatted in a week, I think it's good to get your opinion on this. What have you made of all the chatter so far, and maybe you can call it the last week in regards to some of the conversations around Bron?
Yeah, it's always interesting. The last few weeks, it feels like, in the last week we saw the Windhorst report that the Lakers were stressed about the Luka extension, then LeBron showing up to camp. It feels like a little bit of a power struggle, especially after it came out that the Walter Group, I thought it was an interesting report. They let Luka know that they were selling the team to the Walter Group. They didn't tell LeBron.
And then there was a report that added to that LeBron did know. I think I think the only difference there, and by the way, I think, it seems like with the Lakers, and this is a case all the time, it's like everybody wants to know every single detail. The only difference between LeBron and Luka is Luka put something out public acknowledging that the Walter Group had taken over, and LeBron did it. But LeBron was also notified that the ownership group, that there was a change in ownership. Yeah, by the way, and it would just be, honestly, it would just be a really bad look, I think, from the organization if they were to tell Luka and not tell LeBron. Like that would be, if I got to defend LeBron in some shape, way, or form, the dude's still on the team and he's still LeBron James. So
yeah, I think it's totally between the power struggle. It's of LeBron. We kind of talked about this last week. LeBron has been, rightfully so, the number one player, the guy that you build your organization around. Certainly in the NBA, among even other sports, I think the only other kind of piece you could say, maybe quarterback in the NFL, is where you kind of build your organization around him. And he's been the best player in the league for a long time. So, when he went to draft at Cleveland, Miami, back to Cleveland and the Lakers. And now Luka's just younger. He's 26. He's the future of the franchise. They're obviously trying to sell him. He hasn't signed his deal yet. They don't know if he's going to sign the extension. They think it's going to be that kind of shorter term to come up in 2 years and really, really kind of get the bag. But yeah, I think it's always something with the LeBron camp. I'm happy he's there. And I think also, I don't know what the reports are real or how much of this is the Cavs trying to just throw it out there. I don't see the Lakers, if they were to trade him to the Mavs or the Warriors, one of his kind of destinations. The Cavs and the Knicks were the other two. The Knicks, there was a report yesterday that Mikal Bridges, they're waiting on the extension because they want to see if Giannis comes available.
Saw that, which is smart.
Totally smart. And Cleveland, it makes the most sense. Where he's from, goes back there, but they said they only want him in a buyout. So if you're the Lakers, why the hell would you buy LeBron James out? That does nothing for you versus getting young players back.
I will say this. I will say that this report, I think there's a little bit. So obviously, if you're watching here, I got the report up there. I'm grabbing it from Hoopside, but it's an article on ESPN, so you could see some of the quotes that are on there. I will say that of everything that has happened, and the passive aggressiveness and the when Rich Paul put out the statement when they were signing that extension, I do think that this brings it a little bit full circle, because if this is his final year, this is his 23rd season in the NBA, still putting up phenomenal numbers. You can, there's usually one of two camps with LeBron. Either he's never made a mistake in his life or the guy can't do right. I mean, I'd like to try to be somewhere in the middle on that. But I think there is something a little bit more full circle about this. If hypothetically this is it for him, then I get it. I understand why he wants, Lakers to go all in, why he doesn't want this last season to be, he wants them to shoot every bullet that they have if this is it. And it does, honestly, it does put the Lakers in a kind of a tough position, because if let's just say LeBron has at some point makes an announcement like, I am done playing after this year. I don't want to play anymore. 23 years is enough. My body, this, that. I've done enough for the game. I've done enough for my career. Wherever this thing ends up, it ends up. But I think this portion, I would understand it from both sides. Like I would get it from LeBron saying, just
Totally.
shoot off these final bullets and let me see if I can, make one more deep run in the playoffs. And then I could also see it from the Lakers saying to themselves, you got to understand, every team knows that if we're going to go make a deal, it's probably not going to be a fair deal. And if these assets are going, we don't have any more assets left. It makes sense on both ends of it.
Yeah, and it's nice to, if this is true, that it's really his last season, it's felt like the last few years we've heard. I mean, a couple of years ago, there was a real conversation in the offseason. Was LeBron, was this it? I mean, it was like 2 years ago. And at some point, you just kind of got to know, because the Lakers, all reports are like, this is the best case scenario for the Lakers. If he's in for this year and says, this is the last year, let's go all in. I think the Lakers have a chance. I don't think that they're a favorite. I think they're probably fourth in the West right now. Probably behind the Nuggets in Oklahoma City. I don't totally believe in Houston, but if you want to put Houston above them, that I certainly understand that. And
yeah, say it again. Where do you have Lakers in the West?
I had fourth. I think fourth is probably reasonable.
Finish your point, and I think that's a good conversation. So we'll because I want to. I think we'll definitely have a different view on that, but keep going.
Okay, but it's nice to know, like, if LeBron, they're going all in for this year, because they've been the last 3-4 seasons, feel like they've been kind of walking the line of build for LeBron, win now, but then also build for the future. There's been the reports they're trying to clear up another max salary level spot to pair alongside Luka, which would line up with the timeline if he retired after this year. So if that were to happen, I think it would be the best of both worlds. But we'll see if he stays true to it.
All right, let me look at a couple of these comments, and then we'll get into kind of what we think Lakers would be at from a Western Conference perspective. If Braun wanted to be a Knick, I'm sure Planko would look to get Bridges. Reeves and Bridges played well together for USA FIBA. I will say this. I do think there's something about if LeBron really wanted to make a trade, really asked the Lakers for a trade. Listen, there would be a benefit to the future for the Lakers if they can acquire some other talent, some younger pieces. I think the bigger question is going to be, is there a team that can match 52.6 and still compete for a championship? Like that's really the question. The question is, I mean, maybe you can make the case for the Warriors. And I know it's not apples to apples, because I think if you put it in the trade machine, it won't go through. But let's just say with the Warriors, do you want Jimmy Butler or do you want LeBron next year? I'd rather have LeBron. But yeah. I don't really know what benefit that really is to the Lakers to have Jimmy Butler on the books for the next couple of years. I don't know, what I just don't see a benefit to the Lakers in that. So I think that would be the real challenge. Even if Braun wanted to, hey, I'm out of here, I want to leave. And there are all reports now basically saying the guy's going to be there for training camp and don't expect him to go anywhere. I don't know really how you're going to be able to match some of that stuff anyways. And I'm talking about that more from LeBron's perspective to be able to compete for another championship. Well, go ahead. I'm going to find another comment.
In terms of like the NBA, this what makes it kind of hard. People complain about the aprons and having to match salaries and trades. This isn't the NFL, where if you traded a veteran aging quarterback for draft picks or you wanted just young players, right? The Lakers, if they were trading LeBron and got a bunch of young talent back, or they would probably do that in terms of if they didn't think they were going to win it all this year. But right, getting Jimmy Butler, what does that do? That just makes you worse, and he's still an aging veteran player. So it doesn't really make sense with the NBA the way it's set up.
Thank you very much for watching the clip. Just want to give a shout out here to one of our partners, the Wallace Firm. They are official injury attorney of the Sliwa Show and Hoops Talk, the entire channel. If you are ever in a need, and I hope you're not, but some type of serious injury with yourself or a family member of yours, I would like to personally help you by introducing you to the best in the business, Brad Wallace and the Wallace Firm. Also got a URL out here that you can use as well. Just go to wallacewins.com/Sliwa. Thank you for their partnership, and thank you for being a part of the Sliwa Show.